We wanted to start by asking how your experience has been screening Thanks for Nothing here, and what's it like sharing this film with a youth audience directly?
It was great. I mean, it just happened. We just come out of that screening, and it was so amazing to hear the questions. And it's always so refreshing to talk to young people, especially because this movie is for young people. And I feel like they're not, it's really different with the generations and how they perceive this film. Some people, like some older folks, get offended by the title or are like, oh, we weren't portrayed correctly, or we're so mean. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's not a movie about you guys. It's a movie about young people. And I love it. I love sharing thoughts on that, and I love the questions. It's great that everybody wants to know about the aesthetic and about the costumes and the interior and everything, the set design, and I just really enjoy talking about it.
So we were really curious, what kind of draws you to the stories that you tell? Like, are there any kind of patterns and themes that you notice you keep coming back to?
I'm just starting out, so we will have to find out. I don't know if there's like patterns. I think I'm a very romantic person, and I think I'm also a little bit of a nostalgic person. So I don't really like that about myself. I would love to romanticize nowadays more. But yeah, I'm working on that currently. And I think I just love stealing things from my life and then writing them down and then finding the pattern in those and connecting them and being like, oh, look at that. That's the whole theme there. This could be one movie. So I start out with the situations or with the character traits, and then I kind of connect the dots later when I'm writing. So this is how I find the themes.
And coming back to the title, you said some older audience members were even offended by that title, Thanks for Nothing. Wondering if you could speak a little to the origins of that name and where that comes from and what you want the message of that title to be.
I was very blessed with my parents because they took me very seriously from a very young age, and they always listened to me, and they always asked me about my opinion on anything, and I felt very respected or very on the eye level, and it made me become a person that kind of just knows and can communicate what I want and need in life, which is a very great skill to have. And not really common, weirdly, right? So you have to kind of learn that, and I had that from a very early age. And then I realized while growing up that the grown-ups around me that weren't my parents didn't think that was necessary to ask for my opinion or to consider me in anything. And we're always like, those are like mood swings because you're a teenager, or I don't know. I had many friends who had issues, like maybe, for example, eating disorders or self-harm or drug abuse and even suicidal thoughts. And these problems are very serious, and they weren't taken seriously because the grown-ups were like, you just want attention. Like, what's so bad about attention? And I thought that it would be time to kind of address this. Not that it wasn't addressed before, but I wanted to kind of like show a light on it. I don't know if that's the way you say it, but you know what I mean? Like, thanks for nothing. Thanks for not listening to us and not seeing us. And then also I grew up and I'm not a teenager anymore, and I'm very happy about that. But looking back at it, I still feel this, this like uneasy feeling about not being taken seriously, although having maybe even more serious problems than I do have today.
And I think we've talked about it a lot, like in the Q&A and even this morning with like the distinct style of the film. We were kind of just interested in like, if you could elaborate even more just about like how each like individual aesthetic of like each of the girls, like what that reveals about their characters, and they all have like such unique perspectives and their own problems, so kind of how their like style and colors kind of tie in with all of that.
So yeah, we have like a color for each of the characters. Some of them were already in a script. Like, I really wanted to have Victoria in a pink, orange, reddish world. I had a friend, Cherry Lazar, and she would only wear pink, and she had pink hair, and she was so great and so cool. I shout out to Cherry. I hope she sees it, and I don't think she saw the movie. And I was kind of like inspired by that. So Victoria became like orange, and then Balak was white, as this was also a reference from my upbringing. Growing up, a friend of mine had a father. She still has that father, but I don't know her and him that well anymore. And he would always wear white. And that was such an extreme thing to do, you know, just like choose one color and stick to it. And I like extreme people. So he was a very big influence or inspiration for this character Balak, because he was in between kids and grown-ups. He would like sometimes lie to our parents so we could go out or stuff like this. And at the same time, he was very protective. Like if we had a problem, we could call him. And I think these people are very important, because then somebody knows where you are and you can call somebody in case something happens. And we would have done the same shit anyways, we just would have probably done it on the street and not in his apartment, you know what I mean? So I wanted to pay an homage to him with Balak, and this is how those two colors came along. And then it was kind of like natural to give the others also colors, and then obviously Katerina became blue because of like feeling blue and stuff like this. It was very, very obvious. My set designer pointed it out and was like, we give her blue. And then she had this great blue color for the walls. And Malou, you know, in Germany, they say that the color green calms you down. So they put it in all the public buildings, like the hospitals are kind of like greenish, and the school, like the classrooms are greenish. And as she was brought up in this social institution, I thought maybe she would just adapt to it. She just likes it. So her room became some pistachio color. And Ricky then, she's more like, she likes to be outside. So we just gave her like a concrete color, and like she has some purple in there for her love for the 80s music. So this is how how the colors came along. And I think they reflect their inner world a lot. And also we had giant mood boards and Pinterests and Spotifys for each of the characters, and went along with this. It was great to have those so we could give them to the actors, but also give them to the set designers, give them to the DPs, give them to the costume designers, and this was how we communicated, through pictures. I'm a very visual person, so I show you a picture and then another picture, and like something between these two, and then we go from there.
And I will say the strength of the ensemble and their dynamic together, that really just amplified that message so much more. I was wondering if you could speak to kind of that process and, you know, how that environment of like casting and working with new people has kind of, you know, fueled this project and like getting that message out to younger people.
Yeah, it felt very organic, because I really knew what the characters were supposed to be like, and there were not many chances to like go. You're right, you see. So for Katerina, I've been following her career for some time now. For Lea Drinda, she's an amazing actor in Germany. She's great, so I really wanted her to be on the project from the beginning. So we cast her, we sent her the script, we were like, you don't need to come to the casting, you're perfect. And then she said yes right away, the next day, and we were so happy about it. And then for the others, for Ricky and Vicky, Zafinas, who plays Ricky, and Sonja Weiser, who plays Vicky. So close names, I know. Victoria and Ricky, let's call them that. They were the moods for the casting, and then became the actors for this movie, which was not, it was not meant this way, but it just happened that they were not only visually, but also from their acting and from their personalities, just like the perfect match for these characters. We had Zoe, who plays Malou, who was the hardest part to cast, as it's very hard to cast, to play a non-verbal character. You tend to compensate with mimic or your body, and that's not what I wanted. I wanted it to be like a protest against grown-ups, but also the world in general, so it was important that she wouldn't do much. And we found Zoe, and she's a Spanish actor, but that doesn't matter in this film. She does speak German. She does have an accent though, but we didn't care, so that was great. And so Zoe became Malou. they are all very experienced actors. Like none of them is a first-time actor, which was important to me as I'm a first-time director. So I didn't want to also take care of that. I was like, oh, we're so great. We have so many things to shoot. We have only 27 days to do it. They have to work. They have to look at their own continuity. They have to like kind of function. And I was so lucky that they were these professional beasts that they are, and they all have background in television, so they really know how to shoot quickly. And yeah, so we were blessed, and they got along right away, and they each found their place in this group, and it was very beautiful to see that and to watch their careers now. And we're very close with everybody, so that's nice. We really made some friends. I didn't know any of them before, but now we really like hanging out.
Yeah, it's such a special thing to bring all those people together, and then
yeah, it is. That's the beauty in filmmaking, like creating groups and then also kind of staying in touch.
Yeah. No, the characters came together like so like genuinely and authentically. Like I came with my friend for this film, and she was like pointing it out because we're like a group of 4, and so that's like part of the reason I asked her to come.
You see,
yeah.
Because you in every group there's like it's like the Sex and the City syndrome in a way,
Yeah.
right? You're like I'm such a Samantha, but she's such a Charlotte, and so and I kind of love that about this film that also a person that is like that.
yeah, and it had such a generational feel because like even my mom came with a bunch of her friends, and she came up to me after and was like enjoyed it so much, and those themes are so like they resonate so much with
Moms love this movie. It's so fun.
Yeah. But kind of like from how the characters are so like genuine and authentic, and even just like the story and the way they behave, was any of that inspired by like personal experience, like yourself or people you know, or?
Well, as mentioned, I had a lot of like troubled friends, one could say. I grew up in this area this movie is shot, and I grew up in Berlin, and growing up in a city is very different to growing up in other places, like on the countryside or whatever. You're very anonymous almost, and my parents didn't really know what I was up to a lot of times, and if I would go to school or not, or like if I did my homework or whatever. Like we were very close, but it wasn't like surveilled in a way. So we kind of raised each other, and if I would have a problem, I wouldn't call my parents, I would call my friends. So I think this friendship is very personal to me, and I have a friend group since like we met when we were 13, and we're still friends to this day. Very close friends in a very weird, unconditional way. Like I love them sometimes more than I like them. I hope they don't see that. No, I like you guys. I promise. No, it's just that it's almost sisterly. You care for each other. So I guess that's the very autobiographical part of that. The story itself, I wasn't raised in a group home or anything. My parents are both working in the social system, so I had a little bit of a insight of how the system works, but I never wanted to make anything real or documentary like. I wanted it to be very fictional and fantastical almost, and then so I didn't really do any research because I'm a very lazy person, and then I just came up with it, and then afterwards I was asking around if it's kind of true, and then lots of people were like, oh, actually it's very, very close to what this is. So I myself grew up with my lovely parents, and but did have friends in the system, but also just like friends with similar issues to the girls I portray. Yeah.
What would you say was a challenge that you overcame throughout that filmmaking process?
This is like such a low budget film, but we made it work kind of. We're all students, and this is my graduation movie, so that's like we just do that for the fun of it and for enjoying. Like nobody, there were people paid on this project who weren't students, yes, not paid a lot, but most of the creatives weren't, which at first makes it seem very bad, but then also it brings a lot of energy to it, because nobody's in for the money, everybody's in for the thing and for creating something together. So that's very nice, but definitely you could have used more money, and I would love to pay everybody in the future. What were obstacles? I think we really were sailing through them. We had so many locations, it was crazy. We had an amazing AD who took care of this. We had, I don't know, about like 30 locations, well, 27 days or even more. So we had to move a lot. And then we had a big part that was set in the flat. So we had like 2 to 3 location switches the first 2 weeks. That was very tough. Like I didn't work much in these first 2 weeks because we were only just like moving. So that was very tough. But then the real problem for me began in the edit, actually. Because editing is hard and you're confronted with all the mistakes you make. You don't have so much time. You can't really reshoot or anything because you don't have money. And it worked out very well and we assembled it very well. But a lot of people had different opinions. As a young woman in this industry, obviously you kind of have to work with older men. Some of them don't really understand what this movie is about or like why it's special or something. So when they give feedback, it can throw you off a lot. But these things, like you just have to really stick to what the initial idea was. Like I never meant it to go to Cannes or anything. Like this is not a like hardcore art house film. It's a film for young people to watch and enjoy, and that was the goal for it, and we reached that goal, which makes me so happy because we wouldn't be here otherwise. But yeah, so some people wanted it to be something different than it was, and I had to do a lot of convincing. And yeah, we had a lot of problems with the beginning. People were not sure what genre it is, if it was tragic or comedy, and they wanted to be more clear. But we stick to it. Thankful to my amazing editor, Vreni Zanes, who I love working with. We just kind of like, pushed through, and here we are.
I just really, actually, it's not even on our notes. I just want to ask about like the score and the soundtrack.
Thank you for this question.
It was so good. And
do you know who made it?
Your sister.
Yeah,
yes. I was trying to remember because I was like, I feel like I remember seeing this on Instagram, but I can't remember for sure.
My sister. I'm so lucky. I don't only have amazing parents, I also have an amazing sister who's a great musician and knows me the best. So it was very easy to talk to her because she knows what I want, and I didn't want the music to be too dramatic or too funny, but to find something in between. And I had lots of her music as a demo on my iPhone, so we used it while editing already, and then we gave her the rest of the temp songs, and she kind of just like went along with it and created this beautiful, beautiful soundtrack that I'm so impressed by myself that she did it on her own. Like she produced it and she created it. She asked friends to play the instruments, and then also, for example, the last song, the credit song, that's her singing together with our actor Balak. So that was also a very special moment, having them recorded in like a dungeon basement, and just like, it was very, very great. And you can listen to it on. We have it out, published, released on all the major streaming platforms, I think.
Nice.
Please listen to it.
Yeah, I want to. Because I remember I was watching just like any of the scenes, and like it wasn't like overwhelming at all. Mm-hmm. Like it would just kind of come in so seamlessly, and then it's like the music starts to swell, and I'm like, oh, there it is. Yeah. And like it all fit together so well. So I really wanted it.
Yeah, she's like a genius.
Yeah, that's amazing. I heard people whispering about it. I was like,
yeah, everybody's asking for it, and I'm so proud. She's my little sister, so I'm always very proud.
And it's so interesting you said that there were obstacles in the edit, because the editing was just amazing. I'm like,
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too. I'm very happy about the edit.
Okay, we have some fun this or that questions. Which one should we start with? Have you watched Twilight?
Obviously.
Team Edward?
Edward, yeah, Jacob. No questions asked. My sister is Team Jacob, which is so weird to me, but also good that we don't have the same type.
Yeah. Coffee or energy drink?
Coffee. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't really do energy drinks in Europe, I think. I mean, some people do, but we don't. It's not common.
Would you prefer to over-prepare or wing it?
Both. I am a person that over-prepares, then forgets everything, and then wings it. And the preparation part for me is very important because I just want to have one thought about everything. So I have like giant documents about where do each of the character comes from, what's happening now, where they're going. You never really shoot chronologically, so that's important. So I just like over prepare, and then I forget everything, and then we just go with the flow.
Texting back fast or disappearing for 3 days?
Both also.
Yeah.
I think it depends on my cycle. Such a like woman answer, but you know, like sometimes I disappear for 3 days, and sometimes then I feel so guilty, and then it's versatile.
And I think for our last this or that, would you prefer an introvert recharge or going out?
Introvert recharge. I am a Malou at core, but I tried to be a Vicky to like function in social situations, and I can do that, but I get exhausted and I have to then go back into my little shell and read books and stuff.
Thank you
that's
so
all we
much.
have.
You guys, they were fun questions.